the wind was hitting at such force that the concrete pad of the house was actually shaking. So that first year of taxes, there's, oh yeah, it's only, $1,529, and oh, that's great. But boy, that second year comes in and now you're up $15,000.
Florida man finds iguana in toilet, calls 911.
Again, it's Florida. I gotta say yes. I've been here so long.
It's all happened.
Yes. Yeah. If it didn't happen in the past year, it's happened.
Welcome to the PBC Living Podcast. My name is Jamin. I'm your first friend in South Florida. The purpose of this channel, as always, is to answer the questions you have as you're considering making the move to the Palm Beach County area, really looking at everything from the Tequesta town all the way down to Boca Raton and everything in between. And today we're very lucky to be joined by a business owner that owns the Unlimited Auto Wash at 6 locations throughout the entire Palm Beach County area. So he is the perfect person we want to talk to about what it's like living here and just kind of the ins and outs of these different areas. Before we get started, though, do make sure that you give this video a like, subscribe, hype the video as well. And then also, if you have any questions that we just didn't quite get to that you'd like to have answered, make sure you drop those in the comment section down below so we can get those answered on a future video. But without further ado, Kevin, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. So let's get started with this. How long have you lived in kind of the Palm Beach County area?
Sure. Actually, I moved down when I was 20 years old. I've been down for 40 years. That makes me 50. And so I've enjoyed every minute of it. I couldn't move back now. It's just too cold for me up there.
Where'd you move from?
The Washington, D.C., Southern Maryland area.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And what initially brought you down?
My father had moved down. He loved this area. He'd worked for the Kennedy family for years in the early 60s, and so he would visit down here with the president. And so when it was my dad's time to retire, he decided to move down here. But he did buy a couple of businesses down here to run. And I ended up taking over that family business after I left the airline industry, Continental Airlines. I was a ticket agent, gate agent, so forth for a few years, and I enjoyed that thoroughly. But came back to work for my family, and then ended up buying them out, and became a successful business owner in South Florida, and love every minute of it. I have a beautiful wife and family, and matter of fact, I met her coming off an airplane while I was working at Continental. And I even got engaged at one of the gates there, and had it filmed by a local TV crew and had it on for the 11 o'clock news. So that was pretty fun. Man,
that's bold.
Yeah.
That's bold to propose on the news.
Yeah. But I wanted to have it stand out. But anyway, so all three of our kids are from here, and they were born and raised here. And my wife's from South Jersey, so we're both transplants. And she's been down for almost 40 years too.
Mm. So what area did you guys kind of move into at first?
So we've started in West Palm Beach, eventually moving about 26 years ago to the Palm Beach Gardens area. And then about 11 years ago, we moved up to Jupiter, Florida, Jupiter Country Club. And we love it there. A lot of friends and that we've, gathered over the last, 20 years. So we really appreciate them. And, so.
Mm. So what was the, you've been here a long time, and yeah. I love that because you kind of give that historical perspective on kind of how the area's developed. Mm-hmm. When you initially went to the West Palm Beach area, like what was that like compared to what it's like now?
Certainly I remember when, for example, Okeechobee was 2 lanes, and then went to, I believe, 6 lanes wide, and I believe it's now 7 lanes wide, if I'm not mistaken. Jupiter here, Military Trail right in front of you was 2 lanes up until just 20 some years ago. I think it was in the 1990s, early 90s late 90s or early 2000s that Military Trail was finally widened here. So, it was, and the traffic was certainly not as dense, but, housing was a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to play, you got to pay. So, yeah. Other than that, I mean, schools, my gosh, the school system has grown dramatically. And listen, don't let the school systems, people tell you that maybe this school's bad or that school's bad in the middle school to high school area because our time frame, because a lot of these schools also have the magnet programs. And if you put your kid into a magnet program, for example, maybe sports management at Palm Beach Gardens or up at Dwyer in the, I think they have an MBA program or a business, whatever program there. If you get them into those programs, they're kind of in a area where they've kind of got blinders on. They're not with the rest of the kids most of the time. And they get a really, really good education. It happened to my son, for example, my middle son, Connor, at Palm Beach Gardens High School, and was in sports management and went to UF for nuclear engineering, and he's now a radiologist. And by the end of next year, he'll be a neuroradiologist.
So on the in the schools, then it sounds like they have the option to actually specialize, like even at the grade school levels, not just when you get to college.
Well, not necessarily the grade schools. Not all the grade schools have maybe a magnet program. I think a couple do, but
in the magnet program is where you get the chance to actually specialize in something.
Exactly.
Okay.
For example, Hal Watkins in Gardens, a little bit east, they had the county's first medical magnet, and I know a child that went through there, and he is now a top children's doctor in Kansas City, it insulates your child from the rest of the school in these magnet programs. You have to do your due diligence and find out what schools have these magnet programs, and don't be afraid if you have to drive your kid to school, 7 miles compared to having them on the bus for 2.5 miles. You have to weigh that in. But a lot of the schools have some great programs. Again, Dwyer, has some really fascinating ones. So,
man, that's incredible. I had never even thought they were doing that at the the high school, middle school level. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So with the different parts of the state things, you've lived here in the kind of Palm Beach County area for about 41 years at this point. Let's say, for instance, that for some reason you couldn't live in Palm Beach County anymore. Like, is there another part of the state that you would consider moving to, and why?
Well, as I'm aging, I know the southwest part of Florida. There's some areas that are newer, being aggressively developed, that look nice. Although I'm from the Northeast, so and those of us up there tend to gravitate to the East Coast of Florida, whereas the middle of the country, they tend to gravitate towards the West Coast of the state.
So it's very nice side of the very nice and kind side of the state.
Yes. I also own a condo up in Hobe Sound that we really enjoy going to, but I've never thought about leaving. Matter of fact, right now with housing prices, once you're into that home, it's going to be hard to move. If prices stay in the same range, unless you, even with the affordability, being able to transfer some of your tax basis over to the new home for property taxes. But so I don't know. It's a great question. Great question, Jamin.
Yeah. So with kind of piggybacking off of the affordability, so affordability is something that a lot of people thinking about when they're considering moving to the Palm Beach County area. It kind of has the reputation of just being incredibly, luxury based, very affluent, and you kind of get a sense that, if you're, normal, average, whatever you want to say, you're going to get boxed out unless you're like super, super wealthy. So
Right.
How would you say the affordability is in kind of the Palm Beach County area?
So I would imagine, I believe south of West Palm Beach, but well above Boca, is probably your best value. Although I'm a Northern Palm Beach County guy, there are some deals to be had. And I'm not a realtor, so I would say that it seems as if some of the newer housing developments, if you get in some of those pre-sale prices, that there may be some room for that to still advance after you take possession of the home, so that you've got some equity going into it already. But buying a resale right now, and it kind of looks like prices are just starting to settle. So I don't know. If I were to move, I'd probably go into a new home. But again, property taxes would be the issue. I have a friend that bought next to me he's from Wyoming, moved into the house next to me, which is the identical home but flipped, same acreage, and his property taxes are exactly 100% higher than mine.
Wow.
So yeah, but that's because I bought before 2022, before the prices took off. So I'm still paying a much lower rate, and he paid more than double what I paid. And
right, you've got the homestead on there,
exactly.
So it can only increase at maximum 3% every year. Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
So it's probably, if you're coming from another part of the state where you can do your the transfer, the portability, and I said portability of the taxes. I apologize. Of some of your tax tax assessed value, or whichever number they used, to be able to carry that over. But if you're from the Northeast or outside of our state, the property taxes right now are pretty high.
Yeah. Do you think they're actually going to pass the? Because they're talking about getting rid of property taxes here, and do you think that it's actually going to happen, or is it a lot of talk and good headlines?
It's ironic. I just talked to somebody with the Realtors Association yesterday, and they're the arm that of their company that deals with these issues with the state. They don't feel like it will pass. I don't see how it will pass. Listen, I'm very lucky I can afford my property taxes, but it's only those of us that have the homestead exemption on there that will be affected, that will drop it down. So if you're a renter, matter of fact, affordability, if you're a renter and you're running a 33,000 square foot unit and two of you are living there, you're not going to see, your landlord is not going to see a decrease in the property taxes. And so your rent will not go down, period, end of story. But those of us that are able to pay, all of a sudden not having to pay, so where are they going to make up that money? And the only way they can do it is with an additional sales tax. That's the only way. And so, yeah, I'll still save $15,000 a year on with sales tax in comparison to what I was paying for the property tax. But what about the poor guys that are living in the $3,000 unit, and they're going from 7% sales tax to, I don't know, just call it 12% sales tax? Now it's just did we just redistribute money there? I don't know if that's not something I want to be a part of myself. That's personally speaking. So because it won't affect me in the business wise.
Yeah, I will say if it does go through, like I would actually expect to see like the prices for like homes in the area to suddenly shoot through the roof, because everyone in the country is suddenly like, no property taxes in Florida. I guess where I'm moving, and just like the entire world descends upon these communities again.
And it's possible the state government didn't think about that. Because they know we're already in a housing shortage in Florida, especially South Florida, as it is. And we still need to attract the younger workers to live here. And if we can't get them housing, we've got to do something for them.
Yeah, and you start getting into policy, it's really
or politics and
politics. Yeah, it gets complicated pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and like the ins and outs of it. So I'm not 100% because instinctively I want to say yes, get rid of the property taxes, but more importantly, I want them to cut enough spending that we can get rid of property taxes, so we're not having to, create new sales taxes and other taxes and other hidden expenses.
Sure. I just don't know what services they would have to cut.
Exactly.
And I like my trash being picked up twice a week.
Yeah.
I like police driving through my neighborhood, coming to my businesses. When I opened up a business, I bought a business rather in Palm Beach. Well, actually, it wasn't Palm Beach Gardens. It was in Palm Beach County, but right along the Palm Beach Gardens border. So because it was on the border when I bought it, I went had it annexed to Palm Beach Gardens. And the reason why was the sheriffs were taking without lights on, just for to have a vagrant removed, for example. It would take them 30 to 40 minutes to get there. If I had an emergency and I needed police cars with lights on, it could still take them 7 to 10 minutes to get there if they weren't in the area. But when I had it annexed over to Palm Beach Gardens, oh my gosh, now it was 4 minutes for a vagrant just because they're close by, and they're always close by, but there wasn't their area to respond.
Right.
And if I need them with the lights on, 2 minutes, if that. So it was a godsend there for me as a business owner. So I enjoy paying the property taxes and getting what I need to out of that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I mean, anytime you start talking about cuts, it's like that's where like the actual sausage making of the policy comes into play, where it's like, okay, where's the fat and where do we cut so deep we start cutting into bone? Because that's the tough part.
Sure.
But what would you say are maybe some hidden expenses? We kind of talked about the taxes. What would you say are maybe some hidden expenses that people considering moving here might not be thinking about?
Well, some hidden expenses. I have noticed in certain municipalities or under certain utilities, for example, your water bill could be much higher for the same usage and from one area to another. If you move into a home with 2 or more air conditioners, expect to have that $500 air condition or heat electric bill. Food, nice restaurants, still a little bit more expensive up in the Northeast than they are down here. So that's not bad. Hey, and the fun side is you don't have to get as dressed up as you normally would. I mean, look at me now. This is my daily wear. So that's one thing. It's a lot more casual down here. But it's a great question on the hidden expenses. And I know there are some. Gosh darn.
It's tough to answer if you've been here for like 40 years.
Exactly. Exactly. No, you're right about that.
Yeah. So, okay, another question a lot of people have is how difficult is it to find employment like here in the Palm Beach County area? Because like people see the beaches, they love it, want to live here, but it for a lot of people, like if the employment's not going to line up, it's just not going to work.
So Florida, including South Florida, has always had a bad reputation for pay. For example, a 20-year police officer in the Northeast could potentially make maybe 50% or higher or more than a police officer down here with the same amount of time. Starting pay for a teacher has always been relatively low here. I will admit, over the last 15 years, we've seen a gradual increase, but I still feel we're under paid in Florida. We did have the constitutional amendment for increased minimum wage. It was in the state of Florida $8.45 about 5 years ago, in comparison to the federal, which was $7.45. So we were $1 more then, but in comparison to South Carolina, where there was no minimum wage at all, they had to follow the federal. But this year, as that casual or as the rate has gone up every year by about $1. We're at $14 an hour right now. Next year, or I'm sorry, this October we'll go to $15 an hour, where it will cap out. Look, I've got two sides to this personally, and as a businessman. As a businessman, it is difficult, especially when I've got 145 employees, and my biggest expense is payroll. Mm-hmm. So it's very tough, very tough. But personally, I get it. $15 is fair. As a person with three children, geez, I understand, and it really probably should be 15. But again, as a business owner, it's been very difficult over the last few years. Every $1 an hour it goes up, it's about $300,000 in additional payroll expenses for me that year. So, I'm up quite a bit. And so I just recently went up on our prices, but hopefully that's the last time I have to go up in a while. So I try to cover it for this upcoming $1 an hour as well. So
yeah. So when you kind of weigh in and talk about it, it's not just empty rhetoric. Like it actually some real world consequences for.
It sure is. It sure is. So look, I'm a center of the road guy, but I try to look at things both ways, and I kind of have no choice since I'm a regular guy and I'm also a business owner. So yeah.
How would you describe the kind of the character and like the differences between the different places where you've got businesses? Because you are spread all over the place here. I know there's 6, so
sure. Well, oh my gosh, the difference in our clientele is it's unique. From Wellington, we get during the wintertime, we get a lot of the polo players through there. And when the polo matches are going, it's amazing the difference in our clientele there. And typically the clientele out there have more spending availability. West Palm Beach, we get a lot of people from West Palm, but we also get a lot of people from just south of the between us and the airport and just a little bit west. So it's a unique blend of people. We go from a Lamborghini down to a Toyota Corolla, the next car. So it's interesting there, and nobody gets treated any better. The guy with the Lamborghini is paying the same price you are. But Palm Beach Gardens, we've got a good mix of country clubs in our area. So our average customer there has a little bit more wealth. Jupiter, oh boy, we've got the Jupiter Farms just west of us, and there's no car washes out there, and so we get a lot of pickup trucks from out there, and then Tequesta. Oh my gosh, during the summertime, I think everybody leaves Tequesta, although not as much over the last 10 years, but and they're really unique. They know. I think they watch the weather more than anybody else. Our customers from Tequesta, because if there's a 40% chance of rain, they're not coming. And but then at Palm Beach Gardens, it's like, did anybody not watch the weather last night? We're packed, and it's great, good for me. But it's it's cloudy. It just rained 30 minutes ago, and I've got a line. So it's amazing the different clientele we have. But
absolutely. So. Let's give you a scenario real quick. I will give you 3 separate groups of people.
Okay.
And you tell me where, obviously we're not going to put people anywhere, but you just tell me where you think they'll probably end up gravitating towards and living.
Sure.
Let's do a hard driving, career oriented single person. Like where in Palm Beach you think that person's going to end up?
Wow. Are they new to the area? What kind of money are they making? Because I would I would tend to say probably downtown West Palm Beach in a rental unit is where I'm guessing, because they typically want something that's newer, and they're okay with a nice apartment to live in. They can't afford what they really want at that time, so I think that's probably where they would gravitate to.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do young family, just making, we'll say probably about 70 to about 90,000 a year. Where do you think they're going to end up moving toward?
Well, I hope they bought a round trip ticket. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's possible they may have to go to the Hobe Sound area. But yeah, boy, 70,000, even if they're both making an income of 140, 150, maybe the Lake Worth region, maybe a little west, even in, there's some values in PGA National. With that, you don't have to be a club member, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't have to join a country club or the country club. I don't know. I think even those people, the demographic you described, I think they still want something a little bit nicer, especially if their career, or at least one of them's career oriented, wanting to give his family the best. They want something a little bit nicer, maybe not a 1980s or 90s condo. Again, though, Jupiter, now that I think about it, they have nice condos for sale. My nephew, who was living with us recently, we were helping with his raise our great nephew. He just bought his first house. It's a townhouse in Jupiter off of Tony Penna. And he paid $310,000. Yeah, he's probably going to put $25,000-$30,000 into it, but it'll be a nice home for him. So, I guess there are some values in some smaller 2.2s and so forth, but,
How about, let's increase the budget a little bit. Let's say they are making 120, 150, something like that. Where do you think they're going to end up?
Well, I think, and again, it depends on age. Right. Younger aren't going to want necessarily the country club aspect. They're making more if they're with children, assuming, and married. I would venture to say they want to live in the country club, resort stylish, but they're not going to be able to afford, let's say, joining the country club, which could be mandatory. And for example, where I live, I paid $5,200 11 years ago. It's now $175,000 to join.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, thank gosh I got in early, right?
That was probably expensive back then.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the recurring costs of that country club, even after you join, you still have to pay the monthly fees. And of course the HOAs. Maybe PGA wouldn't be a bad value because you don't have to join that country club, or maybe even Atlantis or some things like that in the area. I guess you have to just ask your realtor, or I'd like to live in a country club atmosphere without having to pay the country club costs, and to find out. And there are some new areas. I know up in Jupiter they're going to have a new development. There's new developments open. They're announcing every day. Not as much as they did 20 years ago, but there's still some new homes that they can get into. At not a reasonable price, but at least a lower price point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So last group then, we'll say retired couple. Kind of fixed income. Fairly well-to-do, and just kind of looking for a place to kind of get away from some hustle and bustle, and just looking for a place to just vibe, as the kids say. So
my and I don't know if we're supposed to only talk Palm Beach County. My mother-in-law just recently bought a good valued home, $399,000. I believe it's a 3.2, could be a 2.2, but a nice house in a big corner in Tradition up in Port St. Lucie.
Nice.
And thank you. So she did a great job getting that home. Her property taxes have only inched up. She's got
Is that the Homestead?
Homestead, thank you. But I'm hearing a lot of people are starting to get priced out of that area because of property taxes have gone up so much in the Port St. Lucie County area. So, that's one thing you have to look at. And are you a year-round? Well, you're probably not. You probably are year-round if you're on a fixed income. You're not going to be able to afford both. So. But there's some, actually in Palm Beach County, there's quite a few nicer 55 and older, but I think the vast majority are kind of centered in that tradition area. They've got quite a few developments within tradition that are 55 and older.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple communities around here like that, but it's not really like, I'd say the specialty, the area, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to take just a really quick break here real quick. For those of you who've been watching for a little bit, you do know that I do have a relocation guide for those of you considering making the move here. If you'd like a copy of that, do make sure you just go to the website, pbcliving.kw.com. Link for that is in the description section down below. Make sure you register, put Florida Relocation Guide so we know what to send you. And also, if you're getting value out of this content, do make sure you like, subscribe, and put the little hype button on there as well. One more thing, we also do have the kind of talking about all the real estate. We do have a market update every single month for those of you who are interested in these areas, where I do kind of actually break down the numbers and show you what is that we're seeing. If you'd like to receive that directly to your phone every month in a text, do make sure you text the number that's going to be on your screen and just say exactly what area it is you're looking at so I know what to send you. But Kevin, we are going to play a bit of a game real quick here.
Okay.
And it is called Fake or Florida Man.
Okay.
So what it is, have you heard of the Florida Man phenomenon on social media?
Yes.
Okay. So all we're doing, I'm going to read you 3 headlines.
They're all true.
Well, one of them is not going to be true, and you have to try to discern which one is fake.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so let's go and read these off. Number 1, let's see. Florida man hospitalized after attempting to teach local gators the Macarena to increase tourism.
That's a question. So I'm going to say yes to start.
Okay. Number 2, predictably, Florida man blows off part of his hand in July 4th fireworks accident.
Oh, I got to say yes.
Okay. And number 3, Florida man finds iguana in toilet, calls 911.
Again, it's Florida. I got to say yes. I've been here so long.
It's all happened.
Yes. Yeah. If it didn't happen in the past year, it's happened. So.
Yeah, well, we'll actually is that first one was the made up one.
Okay.
Okay. But again, there's a good chance that's actually happened at some point, though.
Yeah, I saw it on late night TV. It had to be true.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of going back real quick here, another thing a lot of people are concerned about are hurricanes when they're looking at making the move here. You've been here for a while. Are they worth all the hype that you see on the TV and the news?
So our first hurricane experience, my wife and I, was Hurricane Andrew back in the, early 90s. We were in a wood-framed home, 2-story home, and we left that to go up to my dad's house. He was in PGA National. He had just built a new home a couple years earlier. And we saw the devastation down in Homestead that occurred from Andrew. We felt some of the effects, but nothing, obviously, what they felt. After the hurricane, I'm talking to my dad. He goes, "Yeah, we're a wood frame home," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Dad, I just assumed you were a concrete block steel CBS home." And he goes, "Nope." And again, this was early 90s, and so. Later on in our home, we stuck it out for another hurricane, and I remember the hurricane, the eye passed right over us. Before it crossed over us, it was it was on us for, oh my gosh, 10, 12 hours. We just had sustained winds. It just stopped. And I remember sitting on my couch, which was a few inches from the wall, not pushed up against the wall, but away from the wall. So it was on the carpet, which is, had the concrete floor there. And the wind was hitting at such force that the concrete pad of the house was actually shaking, and I could feel it shaking on the couch. And I already had kids by this time. I was legitimately scared. I didn't let anybody sleep upstairs because, again, it was a
roof could come flying off.
Yeah. And so of course, we're in a CBS home now, but they are real. And if you're told to evacuate, that is a personal choice. I'll give it to you. But if it's your first time, if you've just moved here, listen to what they say, and then talk to your neighbors afterwards that hung around. But don't necessarily go with what they tell you to do. Storms can be real. We did have one a year and a half ago, and I must admit I had DirecTV on happened to be attached to one corner of our house on the good side of the house where the storm wasn't the winds weren't hitting, and I turned the DirecTV on to analog from digital. And I never lost the signal. Didn't see it quite as clear, but because it was now analog. But I got to watch my Washington Redskins play TV, play on the TV, and my power went out. Son of a gun! I had put a generator in my house. If you can get a generator, please do it. You won't go wrong, especially if you have a sick relative that needs to stay with you and needs to have power. So it's very important. But anyway, I never missed a beat during the hurricane. When the eye was passing just a few miles east of us, we could see some nice daylight, and my kids jumped in the pool, not because they wanted to. I told them to go in and get the palm fronds out, and so just to start cleaning up a little bit, so we didn't have to do as much later. So they got to swim for about 5 minutes. No, there was no lightning or anything like that. But listen, if it's your first time here and you've just moved here, do what the authorities tell you to do, and just learn as you go. Ask your neighbors what they do. Again, don't necessarily take that as gospel, but and you'll get used to it over a period of time. But and if it's going to be over 100 miles an hour, you need to think about what you're going to do. Do you want to go west 20 miles or 30 miles and stay in a hotel and then come back to your house? That's, it's always a wise choice.
Yeah, and there's definitely a decisiveness element to it too, because you wait long enough, the roads are going to be really backed up. Tickets are going to be like $1,000 to leave. Yeah. So, some element of decisiveness gives you that choice. And
that brings me to another thing, gas versus electric vehicles. Let's face it, electric can save you quite a bit of money, although your electric bill is increased if you're doing your charging at home. But in the middle of a storm, you leave, you're not going to get too terribly far, especially in traffic. But the same could be said with a gas car. You need to make sure you're topped off. And if you're living near the storm's path, good chance there's no gas available at most of the gas stations. And so please, if the storm's approaching, make sure your vehicle battery is topped off. Make sure your gas cans are filled up, or at least your car, for gosh sakes. Don't run your generator inside your garage. Push it outside and run it outside. That's one thing I just wanted to bring up about your cars.
No, that's golden.
Sure.
Yeah. Are there any other tips you would offer for people as if they're considering it and they'd be doing their first hurricane?
I will tell you this: prices for homeowners insurance can be more expensive the closer you are to the coast, where the higher sustained winds will be. The further inland you are, the less the sustained winds will be, or gusts even, and that also goes for homeowners insurance, wind insurance, so you keep that in mind. But I really don't have anything else I can say on hurricanes right now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So you have the ability of you kind of have the advantage of being able to see like how the area kind of developed in the decades leading up to this. How much has it changed since then? And would you say that it's like the same exact area, just more people, or is kind of the heart and culture of the area itself started to change?
Oh, well, first off, I believe, my personal opinion is it's younger. The West Palm Beach area, Century Village, but West Palm Beach area has grown dramatically, and it seemed to be a more an older type. A lot of snowbirds that actually were even year round, but a lot of snowbirds. Now we still have the snowbirds, but it's a much younger crowd, more a lot more money driven, a lot better paying jobs, especially in the downtown West Palm Beach area, with all the new tech companies coming in and so forth, the Wall Street of the South. So I've seen a lot of change there. I really do believe the school system is much better than it was 30, 40 years ago, despite what some people might say.
I mean, there's some people where it literally everything is terrible every single day.
Sure.
So you can't win.
Yeah. No, and maybe it's the time they leave in the morning and to the time they get back. I've never really been a rush hour guy, and most of my jobs have been within 5 miles of home. I haven't had to drive long distances, so I can see where a person's driving to work 45 minutes every day, or an hour and a half for that matter. Especially when a lot of people back in the late 90s and early 2000s all moved up to Stewart and more in Port St. Lucie because of lower house prices, and they said, "Well, we'll just drive to work every day," and that took its toll. And I know a lot of people stayed up there, but and now prices are coming up there as well. But there are a lot of complainers. I just really don't have much to complain about. I've got good employees. I've got employees that have been with me for 20 or 30 that have been with me for 15 plus years. Wow. I've got a number of employees that have been with me for 20 plus years. I was a gas station's convenience store owner first. Then car washes kind of fell into my lap in 2010. And I felt we did a good job. So I expanded the businesses up to now 6 locations. And, we've got a great following. We're probably the only car wash chain, if you will, that offers 100% hand washes and full service. It's very hard to find that, and we offer a great price for for what you get. I mean, it's a great value for what you're getting. But we've got, and our employees are just wonderful. I couldn't be happier with who we've got.
Yeah. Well, that's people vote with their feet, and the fact that they've been there for been with you for so many years, that there really speaks to how dialed in the business must be.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. What do you like and what do you dislike about the Jupiter area?
The Jupiter area, I don't laugh, but I think the lack of restaurants in the Jupiter market. Palm Beach Gardens, has quite a few, although very few chain restaurants. And I say chains like Season 52. Right. Obviously, they're down in, just throwing out a name, Carrabba's just closed in Palm Beach Gardens. That was a shame. But there's quite a few restaurants down there, not as many in the Jupiter market. I don't think the shopping is as good in Jupiter as it is in Palm Beach Gardens, especially since they have a mall. My wife is a big Lily Pulitzer clothes fan. That's pretty much all she wears, but it makes her happy. And if it makes her happy, it makes me happy. So, but there is just a lack of shopping in this market, and then you go 2 miles north and there really isn't anything for another 5 to 10 miles. It's hasn't developed yet. I think Hope Sound is another big one that's going to develop in the next 5 to 15 years, both east and west of I-95 at the Bridge Road exit. So maybe some nice shopping will come in up there with some more restaurants. But most of Jupiter's roads are, there's really no land left to build.
No, I mean, actually, I was told that, I don't know if this is true or not, so don't take this to the bank, but I did have somebody tell me that they heard that someone was talking about creating a condo association like where the Jupiter Lighthouse is now, which, that'd be vexing if they did that because it's so iconic. Like you can't.
Sure, I don't know what that would do. Would that increase the price to get in? I mean, there are fields, soccer fields there as well. As I'm looking at the lighthouse, but I don't know what that would do for the area.
I think it would, because I mean, I don't know. And
there are homes right across from there in that Jupiter Inlet area. Jupiter Inlet. I think that's the name of the little town.
Yeah, but I feel like they're all kind of like focused around the lighthouse, so it kind of creates this aesthetic and historical grounding. I feel like if they just knock it down and put up a condo building, it's
no. That lighthouse needs to stay.
It's got to stay.
That's Jupiter's. Yeah. That's the iconic look for. That's everything that the town of Jupiter does is all lighthouse driven, if you will. I mean, their logos and that's what Jupiter is famous for. And
it's like, what are we going to do at that point? Change all our logos to include just this rectangular condo building. Yeah,
I mean, and you can't take the lighthouse down, for example. Heck, I would be upset if they changed it from red to yellow, for gosh sakes. It's got to stay red in my mind. That's the way it's always looked at,
Yeah, there's some serious history. I mean, General Meade from like the Civil War, and he was the commanding general of the Union forces during Gettysburg. Like he's the one that actually designed that lighthouse. So let's just let's keep it where it is.
It's a national treasure. I mean, I don't know if that's owned by the county or if it's federal. I don't know. But I should just look at the entrance sign. My great nephew is playing soccer there every weekend now, so I'll definitely look at that. But anyway.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe that's nothing and someone was just talking. But
right.
We'll consider that 2 votes for no.
That's right.
If anyone's asking.
And our votes count for sure.
Yeah. But just a couple more questions here.
No problem.
We often kind of get lumped into the same category for people who are out of state with Miami. So how would you say kind of the Palm Beach County area is similar and dissimilar to Miami?
Well, I think, the first thing that comes to my mind, and please don't take this the wrong way, but I think ethnicity. I think Miami is very Hispanic driven, and I'm not suggesting anything's wrong with that at all. It's not.
It's just a statistical fact.
It's just exactly. Statistics speak. So, but I mean, there's places in I was in a bank down on a main street in Miami, and I went in and had to talk to an upper level person, and no one downstairs at the bank spoke English, and I just felt that was unique. I hadn't found that since maybe the 80s, but it still exists, and that's fine. But I don't think we'd find that here up in the northern part of the Tri-County area. It's still in Jupiter. It's a boater's way of life. Palm Beach Gardens, I guess, a golfer's way of life. So I think that's one of the few differences. A lot more condos in Miami. Certainly they're closer to the cruise ships, so they have some beautiful views that maybe we don't have.
They're paying for it, though.
Oh, they're paying for it. You got that right. And I keep staring at this beautiful picture of Jupiter here, and it's just, I know you're going to tell me it's Charleston or something, but no, it is Jupiter.
That's Jupiter, yeah.
It's Jupiter, right? But, so I'm a big fan of Jupiter. Again, I lived longer in Palm Beach Gardens, but the area has changed. I mean, it's a lot more wealth-driven, a lot more year-round residents than there used to be, and a lot younger. So a lot less traffic than Fort Lauderdale, Miami, that's for sure. So
yeah. So just a couple more questions.
Yeah,
we'll let you go. So first off, we had over 500,000 people leave the state last year.
Yeah.
Now, we still net gain of about, I think it was about 22,000 or so. So we're still growing as a state, but about 500,000 people did decide, to leave for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just in your interactions with people, for you, if somebody leaves, what's normally the reason that they would leave Florida?
Yes, I had a family that moved back to North Carolina because of housing prices. And I think for a lot of, younger families, they seriously have to look at housing costs. And I think that's probably one of the biggest one. I mean, especially in Palm Beach, again, the Tri-County area, even now Stewart, Martin, and St. Lucie County. So I would probably say that's the number one. I don't think, if they're a new family to the area and they don't have Homestead, property taxes are another one that's typically what is the deciding factor on whether they can afford the home. They think they've got all their numbers right and that the bank's going to approve them. And the bank says, well, with the property taxes and your homeowners association, you've fallen out of your numbers that you need to be in. And
yeah, it's an easy mistake to make, because if you're buying the property for, we'll say, $700,000,
yeah,
but you're going off of the taxes that they're paying now,
right?
They bought it for $300,000, I don't know, a decade ago or something like that.
Yep.
You're going off of $300,000 assessed value, but as soon as you buy it, that shoots up to $700,000, because now that's the new baseline.
Sure.
So that's how people can really mess that up on accident. Honest mistake too, but like you said, it's really important to start that homestead exemption as soon as possible, because they can only increase it 3% every year. So for the people who have been here for a long time, for the most part, I mean, they've got a big advantage on people who are just trying to move in and to get established.
Sure. And it also can be the same could be said for buying a new construction home. You're only paying the property taxes they're telling you about are only based on the property value without the improvements to the house itself. So, and they may have only paid an average of $50,000 per lot, but you're buying the house for $1.2 million. So that first year taxes, there's it's only $1,529, and that's great. But boy, that second year comes in, and now you're up $15,000. And
better be socking some money away.
Oh, you better be. You better be. Property taxes could be a deciding factor on anything. But again, just falling back to that original conversation, I don't believe we should be dropping property taxes in exchange for losing services, which we will. So unless they add it on somewhere, and that's going to be an additional sales tax. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I know everyone's going to be upset if I don't at least ask this.
Okay.
So we've done pros and cons of Jupiter.
Okay.
What would you say pros and cons are of the Palm Beach Gardens?
Palm Beach Gardens, obviously it's gotten more expensive, just like Jupiter. And it's going to get a little bit busier traffic-wise over the next 5 years or so with the FPL building opening. Although I know the city staff has worked very hard with FPL to make sure that the roads feeding that area are going to be ready. And I will tell you this: when it comes to the staff of any of the cities in Palm Beach County, Palm Beach Gardens, they're a class act, and I know Jupiter's trying to get that way. They're always trying to copy, if you will, Palm Beach Gardens, but they're a class act in Palm Beach Gardens. As a business owner, they've got a strong code enforcement, which homeowners and business owners may not appreciate too much sometimes. But their city staff, they know what they're doing. I'm about to build 2 gas stations near Avenir, and which is North Lake Boulevard in Palm Beach Gardens on the west side. And city staff has worked for a year and a half on making sure everything's right with entrances and functionality of driveways through there. Through the not just my lot, but of everybody in that little section of businesses along North Lake right there, making sure the roads are widened enough that turn lanes are in before all these businesses are opened, and that's just I'm very pleased. But with that said, as a business owner, you have some additional costs because city staff is very thorough. They're wanting better aesthetics than what may be in an annexed area where Palm Beach County approved a gas station, for example, and then it was annexed over to Gardens. But Gardens, before it's built, they say, well, we'll take the improvements or the site plan as it is, but with your when you build it, we're going to need some nicer aesthetics than what the county was showing on your elevation pictures. This is Palm Beach Gardens, and so they expect it to be nice, and it's going to cost you a little bit more from the ground up to build. So, but they all know what they're doing there at city staff at Palm Beach Gardens. Crazy.
Which, I mean, that's a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? Let me just ask you real quick. Here in Florida, like the car washes and all that, they are way more of a deal than what you're going to find in other places. Like they're just more serious, from what I've noticed. And why would you say that is? Well,
money, obviously, wealth, and I think there's also the trying to outdo your neighbor and or your friend. So, I mean, where else is there within 15 miles of where you live here a Lamborghini, Rolls-Royce, Bentley dealerships? I can promise you, for 9 out of 10 of you that moved here, you didn't have that. Where you came from, and so you see the Porsches and the higher end cars, and people love to take care of their cars, and they do.
Yep, absolutely. And there's definitely kind of a maintenance element to it as well. Can you kind of talk about that a bit too?
So Florida, we are seasonally, we have a lot longer summer, and the heat and direct sunlight is a solid 8 months compared to maybe up in the Northeast, four months. And of course, all the salt air. And so you really need to take that into consideration when you buy your car. Where are you going to wash your car? Are you going to take it to a machine wash and wash it weekly? Or do you want to, for maybe just a few dollars more, get a company that will hand wash your car and do the interior and tire shine at a very reasonable price, and go one step above that, join a club where you can come whenever or wherever you'd like. And that's what I offer right now, for just matter of fact, and it's not on sale, it's our regular price, $60 a month, and you can come in every day, and you can come whenever or wherever. All 6 locations, you can try them all out. If you're a member at one, you're a member at them all. And for $60 a month, you can come in. Every time you come, we'll hand wash your car, sealer wax, blow dry, wheels cleaned, hand finished, interior vacuumed, windows cleaned, dash jams and cup holders wiped. and for gosh sakes, your tires shined. $60 a month, and you can come every day of the month. And that wash is $35 every day if you come to pay for it as a single wash for $60, less than the price of 2 washes. You can come all month long. Boy, I'm excited. So please take that into account, that there are some good deals to be had, and I'm one of them, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it definitely is, and it's definitely an investment here in the area because your car's going to get beaten absolutely to nothing if you don't take care of the exterior. Because it's not just the mechanical. You got to think about the environment that you're in now.
Yeah, if you live, work, and play in the Gardens, Jupiter areas, or anywhere, and you're taking your wife to a nice restaurant, like I'm Saturday's my birthday. I'm going to, I believe we're going to River House. They have a reservation for. And do you really want to pull up in at the Valet with a dirty car or a clean car? Because the guy in front of you and the guy behind you is in a clean car. So do you want to be that guy? Just remember that.
And we'll leave it at that.
All right.
But yeah, and remind me again, it's the Unlimited Auto Wash.
Unlimited Auto Wash. And we have 6 locations: Wellington, West Palm, 2 in Gardens, and 2 in Jupiter, although 1 is on the the Jupiter Tequesta line. So, yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Kevin, I really do appreciate you coming on here and kind of sharing your perspective and insights into the area here. Like, I'm sure we could probably talk for a couple more hours.
Probably could. Probably could.
But I better let you get back to running your business.
All right.
Everyone else, we kind of talked about the business throughout here. We're going to have the link to Kevin's businesses in the description section down below. So once you're moving here and you're looking at getting car washes and all that, which you definitely should, because that's actually going to increase the longevity of your paint job and everything else with your car, because you got to think like salt in the air and direct sunlight beating down on the top of your car. So it's a car maintenance thing here. So make sure you do take care of your car. Link for that will be in the description section down below. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions that you wish I'd asked, do make sure you drop those in the description section down below. We'll see if we can get that to a next interview, and we'll give you a shout out. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.